Rach, what's Benji have to say?
Yeah, Benji says, I'm looking to change super funds. The returns in my current one aren't up to my liking. Yes, I'm comparing like for like between funds, but my current fund offers a huge death cover payout amount that my new one won't. I've been declined insurance outside of super due to my medical history, so that's not an option. Is it possible to transfer most of my super to the new account but leave enough in the old to keep the death cover? Is there a minimum amount?
Do you want me to show you something, Rach?
I do.
What do you think, John?
Oh, look, you're the expert in that space.
Yeah, he wasn't paying attention. Hey, basically, what you can do, this is perfectly normal strategy in advice land. If you were moving super funds and you had some group cover or default cover in your current fund that you wanted to keep, you can do a couple of things. You can leave 10 grand in there, 5 grand, whatever, check with the fund and see what the minimum is. You also need to make sure, I don't think it's a problem for the lump sum covers. I know for the salary continuance, it could be an issue. You need to make sure that based on the fund rules, and I think the legislation with the insurance was around 18 months to 2 years. If the fund wasn't active, they could either cancel the insurance, particularly for under 25. No, I don't think there was an age on it. I'm scratching the bottom of the jar for some old data. But fundamentally, check with your fund, see what the time stamp is for what they deem an inactive fund. So if you had $10,000 in there, for example, and the fund didn't do anything and the premiums were just taken, in 5 years without a contribution, based on the fund at the time, they might say it's an inactive fund, we're rolling the super over to the government scheme and you'll lose your insurance. Or it's an inactive fund, we'll stop the insurance. So you need to make sure it's an active fund. That could mean once a year, just set an auto payment on your automatic internet banking, or even do $1 a week, whatever, just so you know that it's always front of mind, and just do a personal contribution. Once a month, $1, once a week, $1, whatever that is, just to activate that fund to keep it active, receiving contributions. That's the first point. If you got 300 grand in super, sure, leave 10 grand in there. If you got 50 grand of super, I'm probably just staying with the fund. But, so that's the first point. The second point is, what do? You might choose, I'll just leave it in the cash option, so it's not really growing. I'm probably still leaving it in a conservative or growth or something, so at least ticking along. But yeah, Benji, you can actually do that. It's not a big issue.
Does the age of Benji come into account here?
Not really. I mean, the only way an age would come into account with the unitised insurances, it might get to at age 50, for example, every year they'll decrease the amount of units. So you might start with $500,000 of death or disability cover that's default, whatever the default is, and then every year it will decrease to $480 and you'll pay a unit price. So that's the only real age thing there. But in principle, absolutely you can do that. And I would say, Benji, just check. I've been declined insurance outside of super due to my medical history, so that's not an option. Please grab accident-only income protection insurance. It won't cover you if you need gallbladder surgery or some insert, something medical that you're off work. But if you're walking down the street and roll your ankle and you can't work for 3 months or whatever, if you have an accident, if you get hit by a postie on a bike and you can't, claim on their insurance, but you vibe me, any type of accident-only income protection outside of super, it's cheap, it's still tax deductible, put it on a 3-month wait, knock yourself out, whatever that is in your world, that's still an option. So, yeah, I don't know. Do you have any other comments on that, John?
No, I don't think so. I think you've nailed it. It's, yeah. I mean, it's common that people want to change super funds for different reasons, isn't it? And 90% of the time I feel it's just don't complicate it.
Yeah, and to be honest, that's why I was a bit surprised. The return in my current one aren't to my liking. Yes, I've compared like for like between funds. I want you, and I don't know the detail, but most of the big major super funds, the returns are within 1% of each other. And there's no guarantee of future performance. I've kind of, people will hate me for this, but it's kind of all the same, I think. But what do I know? So go for it. And her question or his question, is there a minimum amount? Check with your super fund. So if they said you need to have at least $5,000 in the fund, or we cancel insurance, or we call it an inactive account, or whatever the criteria is, I'd probably have triple the minimum, just as that buffer. If life happens, and I honestly think the more I think about this, I'm setting up a $5 every quarter or $1 a month that leaves my bank account, just so it's always front of mind that's for the insurance, just to keep that account active.
Yeah, I didn't realise you had to have an active super fund. I thought it just had to have a minimum balance, so I've just learnt that.
Well, it could vary between the funds.
Yeah.
So funds might not want money on, if it dropped under $5,000 or whatever it was, they just don't want the admin to send out statements and have these inactive members. So I think they just roll it to the to the super rollover scheme. So, and just check with that. Check out Lost Super. If you haven't, log into your ATO MyGov, have a look at your super funds. If you do have insurance set up by a financial advisor that's paid from your super, that insurance policy will be listed as a super fund with $0, because the insurance-only super policies, far out, I just looked at the time. We don't usually record this early of a morning, and I am going for it because I'm at peak Ritty. That's why I'm like, so they set up effectively a separate super fund with no FUM or investment amount, only insurance, and that gets a rollover from the super fund. And that's how it works. You can't roll over super money to an insurance policy. You can only roll over super to super. So in your MyGov, if you've got a super trustee policy, it will say Ascender, it will say TAL Super, it will say ComInsure, or whatever the super insurance company is, Neos, Clearview, whatever.
When's trough ready?
What?
If you're at peak ready now, when's trough ready?
Trough ready?
Ready.
Trough.
As in you got a peak and then you have a trough.
Oh, look, I reckon after lunch I'll be, because we don't record our Tuesday main show until like 1 p.m. on a Wednesday, and now it's like 10:30.
Shock the
system. There we go. Hey, it's Glenn here. Thank you so much for watching today's video. You made it to the end. Can I ask a favor? Can you hit that like button and maybe hit subscribe if you want to get notified when we release further videos just like this one, whether you watch the Money podcast or Retire Right. And remember, if you want to learn more about investing, I've got an investing book, The Quick Start Guide to Investing, and there's a link in the description to get your hands on a copy. Thank you so much. Bye.